Hi guys. Now, last Christmas, so the Lord has shown me that He has given me, and I'm not the only one, a year's heads up. So it's New Year's Eve. I'm going to step back before I share the Christmas banquet 3-course meal. I have the dessert to talk to you because of this last upload here. No one to defend New Zealand from this, what I saw. I worked out that it was 359 days ago that I uploaded this. So I must have had the dream between then and this date here. I'll start by playing this one. This was last New Year. Now, what are we looking at there? The 3-course meal is 3 sets of 3. So on New Year, Glory had 6 puppies, 2 sets of 3, 3 girls and 3 boys. Now you know that this Christmas she had the last set of 3, which was 3 girls. 3 girls, 3 boys in one litter, and then just 3 girls. The second litter, the Lord told me what sex they would be. This first litter was the very first time I had ever used Strongs. So stay with me as we review the last year, because He gave us a year's heads up, and you need to be in the right place tonight with the Lord. So see the magic school bus? This was the first time ever that I posted anything that I heard in the Glory Hut in June and July 2018. That was 3 days before Christmas 2019. Now the reason why I did it was because there was a sign. I'm looking at it again and I know what the sign is. So my UFO dream, where I saw that round disc of orbs hovering above the land, and then I moved back so I could view the whole thing. behind two mountains to back up to the third mountain, which is Mount Tara Tama. And then I went back and I was through Cleck's computer and he was watching it too. So now I know that 2 angels have seen it. He's twiddling his thumbs. I don't know his response. This I saw about the same day as the Lord said to me, "Time's up, Mariah Carey," which led me to recognise the time when I had my communist invasion dream and I saw well, I can't show you because it's on iPad Go. Everyone knows the image. Oh, there it goes. When I basically saw this. But it was Mariah Carey and her 2 twins were facing the other way. So I saw that. Then I saw the roadblocks and then I saw thank you, Lord, that I could do thumbnails back then. Then I saw this. See, I can't do thumbnails anymore. They've stopped me. They have stopped me. No accidents or mistakes. So I saw the roadblocks and then I saw that. And that's 1 of 5. The bear is coming. I saw this while preparing to upload my dream of the communist invasion. So I don't know what that was, where that image come from. But on that, and I have linked 1 to 5 on this video here, this short one, of Vinny saying that our Navy has gone, or will be leaving to go to the UK because they have responded. They know that we know, and the Queen no longer defends our shores. So we're left open for this. Now, if it's true for me to get a year's heads up, don't you think it will be true for somebody else? Well, part 1 is mostly, have a look, about this.
So I think it could be pertinent to
There's me. Okay. So that's what it's mostly about. I forgot all about that. But the Lord is, this is how I'm spending my new year. Trying to give you a heads up because the Lord has timed this by giving us a year's heads up, and now because we are only 2 hours off New Year 2021, we only have 2 hours heads up. So let's just see how much we can get. I need to show you just about all of this. Okay, just about all of this. We've got just enough time. We're going to play the whole thing, okay? This is that lady's word. I'm going to try not to stop it because I believe if you understand what I've been shown, you will understand what this lady is showing us. I'm playing it this way rather than my upload because I only did 9 minutes, and the whole thing is worth watching. And I've linked it to Vinny's upload, but nobody watches links. So here you go. Watch carefully. Prepare your heart.
Guys, this is crazy. I literally just looked these up while we were doing this video.
Australia's military is bringing supplies to Victoria's coast for thousands fleeing to the shoreline. In New South Wales, seemingly endless lines at supermarkets and gas stations led to shortages amid a 7-day state of emergency.
It's just a scary feeling. I think there's no fuel, we've got no power, no phone service out where we are.
This summer's deadly wildfire season has been ranked
Mobilization Force, the PMF, they are the ones that were part of this protest. These are not ordinary protesters. The PMF came together as a response during the fight against ISIS, and they have continued to...
See that picture of Trump? That's what the Lord showed me. He showed me Trump at the bus stop, and then a huge wind come and blew him off his feet. I was in the Biden bus. Someone was dead at the bus stop. But the next morning after I had that vision, I saw Trump in front of a flag. Like that. Not a cartoon, but a photo of him. And the Lord said, what way did the wind blow? And I said, it came from the right, and it threw him off his feet to the left.
To be extremely powerful. The message here obviously is very clear.
Many fighters that make up the PMF gained the bulk of their experience actually fighting the Americans during the U.S. occupation of Iraq.
Now, I know we're talking about Iraq, but I just put up Fear No Man, who gave America a heads up about what might happen. And it was Iraq or Iran, an Arab country, that may strike first in America because they feel they have no choice, because there is imminent strike on them. Now, it's Israeli news that Fear No Man linked, and that is what's happening now. But this clip is from a year ago.
Facing those massive fires, already among the worst in that country's history, with more than 12 million acres scorched, and officials are...
So this is it, before the fire, a heads up, a year ago.
Warning the next few days will be even worse. Maggie Ruley is there in New South Wales.
Just happened in Iraq. The situation there heating up very quickly without any debate here in Washington. Iraqi television has just confirmed that Qasem Soleimani, former general in Iran's Revolutionary Guard and commander of the Quds Force, has been killed in a rocket attack apparently initiated by the United States near the Baghdad airport, along with a top official in the Iraqi Shiite militia. Now, what were they doing in Iraq? Unclear.
Hey, what about Allison Morris? You're watching NBC News Now. Here are the headlines. Major news out of Iraq. The United States has killed Qasem Soleimani, Iran's top military commander, in an airstrike just outside of Baghdad's airport.
President Donald Trump authorized...
You keep seeing that word now? Well, this video concludes with the word, the time is now. So if I run out of room, play the end, you'll hear her say, the time is now. That's why I made it part 1 of my communist invasion dream.
Drone strike at Baghdad International Airport last night that of course killed Iran's top general.
Qasem Soleimani, in Al Arouzi's telling, he's essentially the second most powerful man in Iran after the supreme leader.
We don't seek war with Iran, but we at the same
same time, we're not going to stand by and watch the Iranians escalate and continue to put American lives at risk without responding in a way that disrupts, defends, deters, and creates an opportunity to de-escalate the situation.
Around 3,000 cases of Ebola virus have been recorded in the Democratic Republic of Congo so far. The hemorrhagic fever epidemic.
In Colorado, fleets of unidentified drones reportedly flying in grid patterns, even spotted by law enforcement.
I had what I believe to be a drone pass over me and it was heading east towards Yuma.
Some residents giving chase.
We got close to one, and it descended. I swear it got closer to us, and then the light showed up.
We begin with those disturbing attacks on religious services. First, the break.
You know, I don't care if you believe me or not, but I was standing out there watching a flying object. Now, it wasn't a UFO. It was something that had technology that I couldn't understand, but it wasn't a UFO. And it was over the terraces, which is not on this land, but it's across the road. And it had a floodlight. I've documented it. It had a floodlight, like the Batman movies where there's those lights in the dark of New York. And it was lighting up all this area. And I was watching it, and then, I'm not kidding, my heart just went nuts. That was after this. That was this year, just before I saw that, had the vision of the UFOs. Now, while I was watching it, feeling fine, because it was a long way away, and then, I'm not kidding, it suddenly was above the land, and the floodlight that was coming from it was on the land, and it swung around towards me, and I ran into my caravan. I grabbed my telephone, and I went out, and it had gone, but I could still see it, but its light was off. Then I saw it again over in the terraces, and its light shone again like a tube, and then it went over the hill.
News from Texas, a gunman opening fire inside a church near Fort Worth. The West Freeway Church of Christ live streaming the service as the man seen there at the top stood up from his seat, pulled out a long gun, and fired several times. Other church members right there shooting back. One victim was killed, another in critical condition. The gunman did not.
I was praying for discernment about Lily's situation, what she was experiencing, and I just...
So that's Lily's dad. This is all about Lily. The Lord said to me, watch out for the little girl. It's the upside of the little black girl in the car commercial that Click shows that says, we sit in the shadows, we wait, and we strike. It's the upside of that. The little girl that came from the church up to the bus. You'll notice my thumbnail for my upload is a bus. Comes up to the bus and gives me the picture. The picture for this year that I have only now understood that those deers point to Christmas, and we've already had Christmas. And the bear is moving around the corner, upside down, up and down.
The only thing that I felt was that it was a physical manifestation of something that was happening in the spiritual realm.
So we have to step across all the way through Thurl.
See the word convergence? What do we have with the Bethlehem star? The word convergence of the two planets.
Hi brothers and sisters, this is Chelsea with the Lamp on the Mountain, and I am here today to record a few videos.
So there's the time. Everything was recorded on the 1st of the 1st, which is basically 365 days away, give or take an hour or two it takes for me to upload this. With the exception, and I believe her name is Lily, what Lily saw when she was a little baby, and I'm hoping it's on here because I haven't seen it, she is saying Abba up, Abba up, Abba up. And then that lady basically went viral, I believe. And now she has a channel, and this is her record of what she has heard to this day, the 1st of the 1st, 2020. And the Lord has given us a year's heads up, so this is relevant. Don't they do that? Leading up to New Year, let's look at the year that's passed. Let's look at the year that's passed. Well, this is the Lord turning it up for you. Up.
I'm really behind from my pregnancy issues that I was dealing with preeclampsia. This first video here, like I said, there's quite a few that I need to make, but this one feels the most pressing right now. I know many of you found this channel years ago because Lily, my daughter, in 2014 had a dream or vision, we're not sure because she was so little, from the Lord, where she saw some kind of event, and in the middle of the night on December 11th, we heard knocking on her door.
What happened December 11th this year? What happened December 11th? It seemed to go past for me, but was it not an eclipse of the moon? The last eclipse of 2020, and we had more eclipses this year than any other year. Pay attention. I have uploaded. Have I got your attention? Have I got your attention? Who has the door theme? The angel of the Church of Philadelphia. He is the door. He has the key. Have you got the key yet? Are you turned up? Did I get your attention all year and last year, trying to get you to listen to the message from the angel of the Church of Philadelphia?
To her room, and typically only my husband would go, but this night we both went, and when we opened her door, she was nowhere near the door. It was midnight, by the way, when we heard the knocking, and she was standing in the middle of her bedroom, and she was repeating, and she had just started to talk at this
midnight. So I started this video by saying that this time last year I was with Glory and she was birthing on that bed, and I'd already named the first pup Midnight, and I named it Midnight because it came after midnight. Look up the number that Midnight was born. Midnight is the only pup of the 6 that still has the name Midnight, because the new owners couldn't think of a better name. Midnight was the first puppy born and is pretty famous in New Zealand and America because it was a very big breeding YouTube channel that I was involved with, or Facebook channel, and we won the competition for the first litter born for 2020, New Year's Day. And I had to know the time so that I could give proof. And Glory and her litter was on the page, and it stayed on the page of that Facebook channel with all these really amazing professional breeders, and this is my first ever litter, until Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is a day, remember the movie Sleepless in Seattle, that the Lord was there before Kali, this god of destruction, was plastered all over the Empire State Building. The Lord was there before, and he left a heart on it. And at the end of the movie, it zooms back like a drone, and the whole of New York becomes like stars, and all the random cities are like lights but stars in the shape of America that looked to me like a reindeer without back legs, and then they shot up. It makes sense to me that if destruction comes to America, that the Lord would take some. And that's what I believe the Lord is showing me. I'm not saying it's now, but I am asking you, are you ready? Are you ready for this?
She was like barely 2. She was repeating, something's coming, something's coming, something's coming, in this very serious way. And then the next day, we asked her, what was going on with that. And she started repeating, Abba up, something's coming, the king is coming.
Oh my Lord.
Millions and millions and millions, maybe even billions of views at this point, shared by various Christian organizations in many different locations and different languages. So the reach has been far and wide. Lily is 7 years old now. She does not get as many dreams and visions as she used to. Lily has been attacked from a very young age. Since she was a baby, before she could speak, she has been getting attacked. My husband and I had to learn very early on in her life how to do warfare, because the kinds of things that Lily deals with are the things that many people wouldn't believe, that we've seen and dealt with the reality of the unseen. And
so she's chosen. These are the ones who these are the sacrifices. And the church turns their noses at them. These are the sacrifices. Because they are targets. but it backfires on the enemy all the time. It just pushes you into his corner. Everything works for good for those called to the high purposes of Christ Jesus. I'm one in his corner. Amy, we have a moment here where we can see Amy. She's a sacrifice. The Lord gave her the dream. The Lord knew and meant her to go with the gypsy ghost. Did you know that when I fasted for her, when she was at Morton getting an assessment for her mental illness, I fasted, and on the third day, my husband was in another room. She came to the bedroom, because he'd already moved out and slept in another room. She came to the bedroom in the night and she jumped in my bed. And this is what she said. She cuddled up and she said, "Mum, I don't know why I ever left you. It's like you are the trunk and I am the branches." She is a prophet. This little girl here is a prophet. The Lord said, watch out for the little girl. It was a little girl who came into my bathroom and jumped in my bath, and that's why I went out. And I saw the horrible woman in my kitchen, the invasion, and I heard the sound and went up the road and watched the parade with the troopers. And I had a heads up to warn them, but they never listened. That was a false flag, and we all went back to our bathrooms. The Lord has given us a year's heads up, guys. He has done all he can. Destruction is coming. This part 1 of 5, if you look at the description, I was shocked and I was struggling to bring it. And I say in the description, this is the first ever dream I've had of coming destruction.
Lily can see in the spirit. She can see demons, not 24/7, but sometimes they appear to her. She dealt with this a lot when she was younger. It's not as bad now. She did see one recently in our house. It was about 3.5 months ago. It was moving down the hallway. She came out of the hall plain as day, and it described it to us. She said it was just a flesh-colored demon with pointed feet and pointed hands floating down the hallway, no face, no hair, no features. And she even said, it came out of this room and was headed this way. Recently, and what I'm here to make the video about right now, on Christmas Eve and on New Year's Eve, she had where the doorknob was rattling. She said it was very loud, intense rattling, like somebody was holding the doorknob and shaking the door intensely. When she did this when this happened on Christmas Eve, she came upstairs to my room when I was wrapping presents, and freaked me out because I'm like in there wrapping presents, and she's like at the door. She told me
she's wrapping presents, and the Lord said, 2020 Pied Piper, all wrapped up. He wrapped it up on the 27th of the 11th. He said they have their surprises, but I have mine, all wrapped up. Christmas and New Year, she's talking about. Last Christmas, that's what Gary saw when he saw the video. And he got the witness all over his body. Last Christmas. That's what this is. But it's pointing to this Christmas. Now this lady will tell you she had a baby. She birthed a baby on Christmas Day. When Glory gave birth to her babies, the power went out. From 10 o'clock, which is when I started this video, until 3 o'clock. There's no explanation for it. I have talked to another man. I've talked to Alan today. Now, Alan is the chair of the Grey Regional Council. If there is anyone who knows what's happening on the West Coast, it would be him. He knows everyone. Spark hasn't explained it. The rumour is it was a digger driver in Kumara, of all places. I'm in Kumara. I know Paul Fahey. He has a digger. Someone said maybe it was Paul Fahey. Now, Paul has a girlfriend, which is great, but there is no way he is out in his digger on Christmas Eve having this girlfriend. He'll be in bed. And he drinks from 5 o'clock. So he's not on a digger. They put internet lines through Kumara on the lockdown. It's a bullshit story. God took the power out as a sign. He took the power out as a sign because Glory gave birth. And this lady's birth is a sign too.
What happened, I went down and prayed with her. Dave prayed with her because it, freaked her out. And then, again last night, she got my husband and, said what was happening, that it was happening again. It was very loud. She was sure this is what was happening.
So this happened tonight, which was 365 days ago. This is when this happened, this doorknob.
So she made a comment today when I asked her about it this morning, and she said it was on Christmas Eve and on New Year's Eve. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Both on the eve of major holidays. I found that very interesting, and I'm not 100% sure why. I think it's worth pondering. I think it's worth praying about and investigating, seeking the Lord on why it was on these 2 days.
So I'm going to leave it there because I've run out of time. So this is part 1. What shall I call it? 2020 in review. Christmas. New Year. Before Christmas. No, Christmas, New Year, Christmas, before New Year. Do you think you want to watch it? Probably not. If you watched it, you are so blessed. I feel blessed. Thank you, Lord. Thank you that you have this. Thank you that you give us a heads up. Thank you that we are chosen. We who are hearing this are chosen. I can guarantee you are chosen if you are hearing this. Praise God. Pray through the new year. Pray through the new year. Be intimate. Find that intimacy with the Lord. Don't ever leave the bathroom. Don't ever leave the bathroom. Forget about the parade. This is it. It's no longer before the fire, guys. This is it. And the Lord is launching us into a ministry that is glorious. It's glorious.